Remnants of an Empire. After the fall of Constantinople in 1453, the Eastern Roman Empire did not collapse completely. It still existed, but it was a walking corpse. The Despotate of Morea and the Empire of Trebizond were the last remnants of the Eastern Roman Empire, but it was only a matter of time before they were gobbled up by the Ottoman Turks. The Despotate of Morea was ruled by Thomas Palaiologos, along with his younger brother Demetrius II. They knew with the fall of Constantinople, Mehmed II would soon turn his attention to Morea. The two brothers were unable to send any kind of military aid to their older brother Constantine XI because the Ottoman Turks were attacking their region around the same time. Morea was also the center of a peasant revolt due to the unpopularity of the brothers' rule in the province. The insurrection was due to the locals' fear that the brothers' tribute payments to the Ottoman Turks would eventually lead to an eventual direct rule under them. Mehmed had to send soldiers to Morea on several occasions to put down the revolts. Later in 1454, up the tribute payment and ordered the brothers to settle their differences with the locals. 6 years later, Thomas Palaiologos and his brother Demetrius suddenly refused to send the Ottomans any more tribute and decided to revolt against their rule because they felt that they had support from the West to fight the Turks and revive their scheme of recapturing Constantinople. Mehmed had enough of the brothers' foolishness and wanted to bring Morea under direct rule, so he collaborated with several local Greek leaders who made a secret peace treaty with the Ottomans and helped the Turkish soldiers on May 29, 1460, invade the region. Thomas and his family ran away from the Ottoman Turkish army and fled to Rome, where Thomas sought the protection of the Pope, while his brother Demetrius took his chances and begged for mercy from Mehmed. After being on the Sultan's good side for a few years, Demetrius fell out of his favor and became a monk and died in a monastery in 1470. Up north was the Empire of Trebizond, another province of the Eastern Roman Empire that managed to survive the fall of Constantinople, well, for a few more years. The last ruler of the Empire of Trebizond was David Komnenos. This poor sap was an emperor living on borrowed time because he knew Mehmed was eventually going to gobble his little empire up. The Empire of Trebizond was founded in 1204 after the sack of Constantinople by Alexius I and the Queen of Georgia, Tamar, who sent soldiers to the province to protect it from a potential invasion from either the Crusaders or the Turks. Trebizond managed to stay under the radar for a couple hundred years until the fall of Morea in 1460. This left them the last remnant of the Eastern Roman Empire and the final notch on Mehmed's belt. Desperate for any kind of help because he didn't want to end up in front of Mehmed on his knees, he sought aid from the West and prayed for a crusade or divine intervention. He also stopped paying tribute to the Ottoman Turks. Mehmed was not pleased with David's overtures with the West for a crusade, and not only refusing to pay his annual tribute of 3,000 gold pieces, the ambassador he sent to deliver the message insulted him as well with a list of demands. Mehmed told the ambassador to tell David he'll give him an answer to his list of demands and the refusal to pay his tribute personally. On September 14, 1460, Mehmed sent an army of 80,000 infantry, 60,000 cavalry, along with 10 warships and 20 galleys to begin a very long siege of Trebizond. The city's massive walls protected the inhabitants, but the Turks had no need for combat because they wanted to starve out the people of Trebizond. But after several months of slowly tightening their control around the city, the Turks began the actual siege on July of 1461. Outside the city walls, the Ottoman Turks easily overpowered the small Eastern Roman army and plundered the countryside and suburbs. After a month-long siege, Emperor David surrendered Trebizond to the Ottoman Turks on August 15, 1461, after negotiating a deal with Mehmed, ending the last remnant of the Eastern Roman Empire. Mehmed, a man of his word, gave David and his family a huge estate in Adrianople along with an annual payment of 300,000 pieces of silver. But he was a descendant of the Comnenid dynasty and feared David would try to retake Constantinople with a crusade from the west. 2 years later, Mehmed ordered David and his sons to be executed on November 1st, 1463, to ease his fears of the Eastern Roman Empire from ever rising from the ashes. He ordered their corpses to be left exposed outside the walls of Constantinople for all to see. Legend has it that David's second wife, Empress Helena, buried his dead husband's body with her bare hands. After burying his body, she was confronted by Ottoman Turkish officials who gave her the choice of either paying a 5,000 ducat fine or be executed on the spot. Her entourage paid the fine, but she dressed herself in sackcloth and lived the rest of her life in a hut near the bodies of her dead family. Thanks for watching another episode of the Byzantine history of the Eastern Roman Empire. My name is Joseph Ulivas, your illustrious narrator, and I bid you adieu.